The second day back home, my 4-year-old daughter dragged me to see her crush. When we met him, I realized her crush was my son with my ex-husband. The boy ran into my arms, sobbing his heart out. "Mom, I thought you didn't want John anymore." Even my ex, a stoic guy, had red eyes, and "We can finally be a family of 3 again." But as far as I remember, it was their hard decision to dump me back then. At the playground, during free time, I noticed John before Lily did. All the students were gathered in little groups, while he stood alone, upright but with a gloomy aura, missing the energy a kid his age should have. Lily, with her sweet voice, asked, "Mommy, why does my prince look sad?" I shook my head and replied, "I don't know either, honey." After I left, wouldn't John be thrilled that Amanda was now free to become his new mom? It should have made him overjoyed. Almost as if he sensed something, John glanced our way. Lily, being her sociable self, raised her chubby paw to wave at him, but I stopped her. "Lily, we're only sneaking in, we should leave. Daddy's waiting for us at home." "Okay, Mommy, hold my hand," Lily reluctantly said, nodding. I was still trying to wrap my head around the shocking fact that my little girl's crush was my son with my ex. As I led Lily away, a woman's voice stopped us. "Hello, I'm John's teacher." "You're John's mom, right? You look just like him. Do you have time to chat about John?" Before I could respond, Lily chimed in, correcting her officially. "Teacher, you got it wrong. This is my mommy. She's like John's future mother-in-law." Where did Lily pick up this nonsense from? Facing the teacher's bewildered look, I didn't hide. "Hi, yes, I'm John's mom. But his dad and I split up a long time ago. You might be looking for Amanda, John's new mom." The teacher looked even more confused. "Felix is single. I don't know who that is." Just then, my phone buzzed with a message from someone saved as hubby. "Two little foodies. Come back quickly," along with a drawing of a big crab encircled by 2 fluffy white cats. I couldn't help but chuckle. "Sorry, teacher. Lunch is ready at home, I need to go." "Wait," she pulled me back earnestly. "Just 10 minutes, 5, even 1 would be enough. He's really struggling." I was caught off guard. "Sorry, please contact his dad." She hesitated. "I've never met Felix." "John's mom, I can see you're happy, but both of them are your kids. You can't ignore one." Her last comment came with a hint of reproach. But back then, the more I dealt with John, the more he couldn't stand me. John's dad, Felix, was once a genius at University and dated the school beauty, Amanda. Later, Amanda left to marry a rich guy and study abroad. Felix fell into a slump, losing his prodigy status and pushing away all his admirers. Only I stuck around, helping manage his business, organizing his life, until I worked myself into gastric bleeding. At a class reunion where everyone drank too much, a classmate, tipsy, stood up for me, and, "You've stuck around Felix all these years without recognition. He doesn't like you. Why not be with me? I'd treat you better." That night was the first time I saw Felix lose control and hit someone. At home, he kissed me. Our rational thoughts scattered like our torn clothes. During an intimate moment, his voice was husky, and, "Let's have a daughter, just like you." Unfortunately, the next year John was born, a son. He was a rascal in the womb, tied up by the cord, and I nearly died giving birth. So many times I wanted to strangle Felix for being the cause, but at the end, all I wanted was for him to hold me. Yet I was told Felix had urgent matters and left. Later, I found out it was the day Amanda returned after her family's bankruptcy and broken engagement with the rich guy. Trying times led her to reach out to her first love, Felix. John was my first child. As a new mom, I was clueless but poured everything I had into him, not caring if he became famous, just wanting him to be kind. When in kindergarten, his teacher said he threw a banana peel on the floor to make others slip. I made him pick it up and bin it. He defied me, saying, "Why won't you or the teacher do it for me? Amanda always helps me." In primary school, I told him to finish homework before playing games. He ignored me, so I cut the power. He angrily threw the controller at me and retreated, yelling how dull I was and claiming, no wonder Dad said if he could redo it, he'd choose Amanda. John slammed his door, leaving me exhausted and heartbroken. How did everything go so wrong? This child I risked my life for cherished another woman in his heart more than me. On such days, I was crushed, crouched on the floor, dialing Felix. The call connected, and Amanda's sweet voice answered, and Felix is pretty drunk, insisting on showering here. Should I get him for you? I totally zoned out and didn't hear a single word after that. Hung up the phone, feeling all cold and just curled up on the floor. John opened the door, sounding all distant. He said he heard Dad went to find Amanda and that he was going too. I just gave a sarcastic smile, thinking about how my marriage flopped. In the end, I couldn't compete with either the old or the young. The next day, I watched John get ready one last time and made a healthy breakfast for him. At work, I pulled out the divorce papers. Felix seemed surprised and asked why. I shot back with a question, where were you last night? Felix frowned, tapping his fingers on the table, and, aren't you being a little too controlling? John, who'd been listening the whole time, burst out laughing, Mom, if you leave, does that mean Amanda can be my new mom? I nodded, biting my lips so hard it hurt. Yes, I'll never trouble you again. John jumped for joy, then can you leave quicker? I'll help you pack. Felix shot John a look and turned to me, expression all complicated. Since we were married, I'll make sure you're well compensated. I didn't hesitate to accept the check from Felix. Art ain't cheap, especially abroad. The art college dean once noticed my talent and offered me a spot. But I turned it down to take care of John. Round and round we go, and I finally got back to chasing my dreams. I never imagined meeting my true love in a foreign land and having an adorable, lively daughter. John's mom, are you listening? The teacher waved her hand in front of me. Please, don't call me John's mom. I have a name, it's Anne, I said, taking Lily's hand. Lily, let's head home. Mom, look, it's the guy I like. Lily was about to jump out of her skin, pointing excitedly. I locked eyes with John. His gloomy face softened and he tried a mom. There was a hint of a sob in it. Lily, tiny and lively, ran up to John, offering him candy. Big bro, Mom says when you're sad, sweets help. John looked upset way beyond his age and abruptly pushed Lily away. The little 4-year-old stumbled and landed hard, tears welling up. Lying brat, she's not your mom. Don't call her that. I rushed over to comfort Lily, but John got there first, hugging me tight. Mom, you came back, I thought you didn't want John anymore, he sobbed. Let go, I said, pushing him away forcefully. He froze, watching me gently tend to Lily, checking for bruises. Lily, where does it hurt? Tell Mommy. Lily shook her head, giving me a peck on the cheek, then glancing nervously at John. No, Mom, it doesn't hurt. Don't blame my brother, he's probably just practicing his strength. I laughed wryly, the victim here was defending the culprit. Who's she got this forgiving nature from? John stayed clutching as if still hugging me, voice shaky. Mom, she's lying, right? You and Felix only have me, I don't have a sister. Even when I first came abroad, I often woke up crying from dreaming of John. But now, standing there with tearful eyes, I felt nothing. You're right, John, Lily's not your sister. But she's my daughter. As her mother, I won't let anyone hurt her, not even you. I picked up Lily and started to leave, John clinging to my clothes. While pulling away, his sleeve slipped up, revealing some scars. I couldn't look closer because he quickly pulled it down in a panic. Mom, there's a parent meeting at school the day after tomorrow, you'll come, right? John looked at me with a broken yet hopeful gaze. Behind him, the teacher clasped her hands together, pleading earnestly. As I hesitated, Lily decided for me, reaching over to pat John's face despite her shorter reach. Don't cry, big bro, Mom and I will go with you. Later, when Felix called, Lily was already asleep, and I'd just finished telling Jason about seeing John today. The phone vibrated persistently. Jason smiled gently. Go ahead, I was just stepping out for some air. I nodded, picking up the phone. Just as Jason was about to leave, he pivoted back, giving me a quick kiss. My mind was on pause, but my hand had already touched the answer button. Felix called my name twice before I heard him. "Anne, what's up?" "Nothing," I said, trying to keep calm. "Do you need something?" His voice on the other end was strangely gentle. "John said he saw you." Do you know what I first felt hearing that? I was getting impatient. What? Jealousy, he breathed out over the line. Why does he get to see you first? I was taken aback. Felix, didn't John tell you I'm married now? There was a long silence. Just as I thought he'd hung up, Felix spoke again. "Anne, you're lying." I didn't bother arguing, just hung up. Jason hugged me from behind, his soft lips brushing against my neck. "So you and Lily are heading to John's parent-teacher meeting?" I wanted to explain, but remembering John's scars, I left it vague, choosing my words carefully. "Just this once, John's not feeling well." "Okay." Jason held me tighter, almost trapping me, and his voice was full of worry. "I'm not reluctant, just afraid that John is still like when he was a kid, capable of hurting you." "Baby, is he there?" "What?" In that last sentence, Jason's voice was so soft, I could barely hear him. "Is that guy going?" Jason slightly raised his voice, adding a hint of grievance. I realized he was referring to someone. Maybe he will. Jason stared straight at me, his breathing a bit unsteady, mumbling softly, "Then I'm going too." I knew he was joking, but I also understood that he was genuinely worried. Jason is my direct junior. He knows all the stories between Felix and me inside and out. He's seen my moth to a flame, unrequited love for Felix. He also knows how anxious I was when I first came abroad, worried about John to the point where I needed sleeping pills to get any rest. "All right, I just have some questions and want to go find some answers. I'll be back soon." Jason tried to suppress the panic in his eyes and ruffled my hair. "Baby, I'll wait for you at home." "Wait for you and Lily to come back." I considered the possibility of running into Felix at the parent-teacher meeting. But I didn't expect to see him while buying snacks with Lily. Felix stared intently at the little bundle next to me. Lily tilted her head, her dark eyes curiously sizing up the unfamiliar man. Unlike her familiarity with John, Lily was wary of Felix, despite usually being friendly. "Such a good kid, looks just like you." Felix bent down, trying to touch Lily's chubby cheek. I subtly avoided it. "Actually, she looks more like her dad." With that, I led Lily straight ahead. Felix didn't stop me. As Lily and I headed back with 2 bags of snacks, Felix's car was still in the same spot. "Anne, I'm also going to the parent-teacher meeting for John. Shall we go together?" "Okay." I hesitated for a second but agreed. To figure out the details of John's situation, I couldn't easily avoid Felix. "You and Jason." "Married, and our daughter is 4. I looked at Felix calmly, as if exchanging pleasantries with a friend. "How about you and Amanda, doing well?" After marrying Jason, I realized how crucial it is for a child to have a family and loving parents. John used to be notoriously mischievous, wearing down several nannies. I can't understand how a hyperactive child ended up like this, inhuman, under the care of both Felix and Amanda. And Felix's eyes slowly turned red. "Amanda and I have nothing to do with each other. After you left, I've been single." I detected a hint of aversion in Felix's tone, which puzzled me. Back then, both father and son were infatuated with Amanda, but now they seem bitter about her. Felix took a step closer, clasping my wrist, the warmth almost scorching. "And that little one isn't yours and Jason's, right?" I struggled but couldn't break free, let out a wry smile. "What makes you say that? Is Lily an adopted child?" I pulled hard and finally freed my wrist. "She's mine and Jason's biological daughter." Felix awkwardly retracted his hand, looking down, and opened the car door. "Sorry, I lost my composure. And, you know, I've always wanted a daughter." I couldn't understand Felix's behavior today. Few people know about Jason and I getting married and starting a family abroad. Yet, Felix managed to call out Lily's name correctly. It's highly likely he had investigated me beforehand. Seeing Felix staring at her, Lily nervously hid behind me. Mommy, Lily won't sneak cream again. Lily will clean up her toys. Can I not be sold to this uncle? I patiently reassured her, Lily, we're just taking this uncle's car to John's parent meeting. Once it's over, Mommy will bring you home. Hearing John's name, Lily withdrew her teary expression, her eyes curving into a smile as she climbed into the back seat, fastening the seatbelt herself. Let's go, Uncle. Felix's car music played light-hearted sweet songs. I've always liked this type of music. But Felix used to scoff at my taste, preferring piano tracks that he and Amanda both enjoyed. For some reason, I vaguely felt that Felix was trying to get on my good side. Has John been doing okay mentally lately? Why did his teacher say they've never met you? After a moment's hesitation, I asked what concerned me the most. Felix glanced at me through the mirror, and, now that you're back, you're only concerned about John. There are others who miss you, not just John. Even the dullest person would sense Felix's implied meaning. I deflected, who usually takes care of him? No one. Felix lightly tugged on the corners of his mouth. His mood is unpredictable, no nanny wants to take on the job. The man's tone was calm as if he were discussing a stranger and not his own son. Lily couldn't take it. Uncle, you're John's dad, why don't you take care of him? Dad takes care of Mommy and me at home. Felix didn't directly respond to Lily but casually asked. Little one, do you like John? Lily nodded vigorously. I liked John from the first sight. Then do you know why John's unhappy? I don't know. Lily leaned forward curiously. Why, Uncle? Felix, if you let your mom be with John and me, John wouldn't be unhappy. Lily knitted her brows, seriously contemplating the issue, almost on the verge of tears. I like brother, but I also love Mommy. Dad and I can't lose Mommy. Felix, pull over. Until now, I could tolerate those cryptic tests of his. He was teasing Lily on purpose, and it made me instantly furious. After getting off the car, I took Lily with me and walked straight ahead. I was comforting the crying girl as we went. Felix was trailing behind at a leisurely pace. Finally, I managed to calm Lily down, and when I looked up, I noticed a girl wearing a mask staring right at me. She rushed over, excited and in disbelief. Oh my God, Anne, is that really you? You came back from abroad and didn't even tell us, you're old classmates. I said, I just got back a few days ago and haven't settled in yet. Lily, still sniffling, chimed in with a sweet, hi, sister. The girl teased, wow, Anne, who did you kidnap this time? She's so cute and sweet talking. I sighed, she's my daughter. That's when the girl noticed Felix behind me, and her expression changed. And, did you get back together with him? And you had a second child? No, I quickly waved my hand, denying it. Felix glanced at his watch and interrupted, Anne, if we don't go in now, we're going to be late for the parents' meeting. Seeing my friend's surprised expression, I had to quickly explain while heading towards the school, it's not like what you think. We'll catch up over the phone someday. My friend stood there, stunned like a statue. We made it into the classroom just in time. When John saw me, a faint smile appeared on his otherwise expressionless face. The teacher seated Felix and me at John's desk. Anne, our little family is finally back together, said John. On stage, the teacher was discussing the class's academic performance. Felix put down his snacks and looked at me. I whispered, we're not together anymore. Felix snorted, with a slightly bitter smile, Anne, you're still mad about what happened, aren't you? That night, I was at the office. Amanda answered the call on her own. I gently cut him off, it's fine. You don't need to explain. I don't care what happened that night anymore. Felix paused. Being so used to being in control, it was rare to see him so vulnerable, and, you liked me for so long. You can't just be over it. You really did love me. Yeah, I replied, I didn't expect to get over it so fast myself. After the divorce, everyone who knew us predicted I'd regret it. They told me that someone you'd loved so deeply would always be a shadow in your life. But then Jason came into my life. He showed me a different side of love. I learned that in a relationship, you can still be yourself. That when you really like someone, you're eager to make it official, not leave them in an endless guessing game. And that raising a child is a shared responsibility. I once truly admired that bright and gifted young man from before. But now, I fidgeted with my ring, smiling openly. Felix, I'm really not into you anymore. The teacher announced the results from the podium. I was genuinely surprised when John's name was the first mentioned. When he was younger, Amanda used to buy John video game consoles, and he was completely obsessed, always dragging behind in school. We argued a lot because of it. Seeing the confusion in my eyes, John quietly spoke after receiving his certificate and returning to his seat. Mom, I don't play games anymore. I do my homework first thing when I get home, and I'm top of my grade every time. I hummed softly in response. Mom, I promise I'll behave from now on. Now that you're back, can you please not leave me again? The young boy's eyes pleaded desperately, his pale lips quivering. Just give me a little of the love you give Lily, just a tiny bit, and I'll be happy. This time, I didn't answer. It was time for open discussion. Some classmates were sweet-talking their parents, hoping to get a lighter scolding. Others were chatting about where to go for vacation. Amid all the laughter, John was in a somber mood. Suddenly, Lily noticed, Brother, you're bleeding. She grabbed John's hand. Blood trickled through his fingers. Thankfully the cut wasn't deep, so I quickly fished out a band-aid. With the noisy class, no one else paid any attention. As I checked the cut, John's hand opened involuntarily, and I saw the tiny blade he had been clutching. I instantly understood where his scars had come from. John whispered, Mom, can we step outside? Okay, I agreed. Lily held onto John's hand tightly, following right alongside him outside, practically hanging onto him like an accessory. She gently blew on his band-aid, trying to comfort him. Brother, blowing on it makes it not hurt. That's what Mommy does for me. John didn't push her away this time, though he still looked annoyed. I had to ask, how long have you been doing this? John shook his head, I can't remember. I turned to Felix, did you know? His answer came in the same indifferent tone as John's, I did. But it's his own body. I can't exactly tie him up. John retorted coldly, Felix, I don't need your concern. Witnessing the tension between them now, it was hard to imagine that a few years ago, John had chosen Felix over me. I had given him all my attention, but he preferred his dad, who was always working and rarely home. Mom, I don't want to see a therapist. I just want you here with me. John gently took my hand. Mom, I'm not sick. I just miss you. There were tears in the teenager's eyes, as he hesitantly asked for some affection, breaking my heart in an instant. Felix and John surrounded me, one on each side, trying to sweet-talk me. And, let's all go home tonight. Just to celebrate John getting first place. You love my sweet and sour fish, I'll make it for you. Don't worry, Felix continued, it's just a simple dinner. After we eat, I'll have the driver take you and Lily home. John, unusually quiet, looked at Lily and asked, do you want to come to my house? Lily smiled and nodded, yes, I want to go to my brother's house. I patted Lily's fluffy head to comfort her. Lily, sweetie, Daddy's waiting for us at home. Lily pouted, okay, I'll listen to Mommy. Felix hesitated, unable to hide the sadness in his eyes. Anne, it's just a family dinner. You don't want to come? I shook my head. Felix, once we do this, it'll lead to more. It's better if we don't see each other anymore. I finally saw through Felix's intentions. He was trying to wear me down. Using the kids and past feelings to pull me back into the life I escaped from. If I agreed to dinner, he'd keep asking for more. Can you come for the kids' birthdays? Fake being a couple for a business event? help pick out a suit and tie because you're the only one who gets me. Before I knew it, he'd worm his way back into my life, using guilt and pressure, then push for us to get back together. That's totally something Felix would do. He still thinks I love him and that he can win me back if he tries. It'll save me trouble in the long run to shut it down now. What about John? Felix pulled up John's sleeve to reveal a scar. Aren't you going to take care of your kid? I held back a wave of emotion and forced a smile. John's situation isn't my fault. For a second, John's hopeful eyes made me falter, but then, I recognized that look. I used to look at both Felix and John just as pitifully. Throwing away my dignity and self-identity, begging them to stay, to love me. But Felix ran off when I was most vulnerable after giving birth. Comforted Amanda. They went to fancy restaurants and listened to symphonies together. I raised John myself, gave up school, dreams, work, and my friends, just to become John's mom. All I ever said was, eat your veggies at lunch. But John saw my care as nagging. He kept running to Amanda. When I finally decided to get a divorce, I wanted to take John with me. But he chose Felix and let another woman be his mom. If I try to make things right with John now, I'm betraying the part of me that suffered. And I can't betray the part that Jason and Lily saved from the darkness. John, remember what I said before? I won't be responsible for you anymore. You agreed and seemed happy. Tears streamed down John's pale face. I was wrong. I didn't know anything then. After you left, Felix and I realized we need you. I gave a bitter smile. Where's Amanda? Why isn't she with you guys? Felix doesn't like her, John said, trying to stop his tears. Mom, after you left, Amanda moved in and used your stuff. Felix kicked her out. All she ever did was let me play games and order takeout. She never really cared. Please, Mom, don't leave me. I'll behave, I promise. I was silent but firm. John, I'll help you find a therapist. But I'm not coming back. John's face turned nearly ghostly, struggling to stand. Felix started figuring out I was serious. He stepped forward and hugged me. Anne, I don't believe you love Jason. If you hate John, I'll send him to his grandparents or abroad. Let's get remarried, please. I struggled. Felix, let go. Let go of my mommy. Lily yelled, trying to pull Felix off me, but it didn't work. I tried to break free, but Felix was too strong. The empty playground was just us. Felix's eyes were red, almost bleeding. Anne, I'll treat Lily as my daughter. We were together for 8 years. I don't believe you can forget that. I love you, he said, give me another chance, please. I was at a loss when someone stepped onto the scene behind me, and suddenly Felix's grip was gone. He was punched without warning, stumbling back but standing. Daddy. Lily ran to Jason, who had just arrived. Jason, after making sure Lily was okay, punched Felix again, this time drawing blood. As Jason went in for another punch, I stopped him. That's enough. I wasn't worried about Felix, I just didn't want this to blow up on Jason. It wasn't worth dealing with the cops over Felix. Plus, Lily is too young to see stuff like this. Why are you here, Jason? I asked, a mix of relief that he showed up and confusion since he should be at work now. Baby, I saw the message in our school group chat. What? I opened my phone and saw that the girl I ran into at the school gate had posted in the group chat. I bumped into Anne today. She seems to have gotten back with Felix, and they have a second kid. There's a photo to prove it. Suddenly, everyone started buzzing. Really got back together? I knew it. You can't just get over someone you've loved for so long. Jason firmly replied, no way, you got it wrong. The girl, unaware of my relationship with Jason, fired back. Do you know how much Anne loves Felix? Do you understand the power of a first love? I bet she couldn't feel that strongly for anyone else in her lifetime. But she probably doesn't know I have a second account in the group too. Rumors in the chat were getting out of hand, and I felt this urge to explain. Jason, Baby, I believe you. Jason gently fixed my messed up hair from the struggle. I'm here, not because I doubt you, but because I don't want you to get hurt. Jason picked up Lily. No matter what you choose, I'll support you. I looked at Felix and John across from me. One had blood stained on his lip. The other was covered in bruises. I hesitated, then slowly walked towards them. Lily yelled in panic, "Mommy, don't go." Jason gestured for her to be quiet. As I approached, a bright smile appeared for the first time on John's usually gloomy face. Felix, however, looked defeated and muttered my name, Anne. Felix, John is your child. After I leave, you're his closest family. I hope you can let go of your anger and take good care of him. And I wish that you find true love soon. If not, then may you be safe and healthy. John finally realized something was wrong, and his smile froze. Mom, are you leaving again? I raised my hand to gently ruffle his hair. John, Mom loves you very much. But Jason taught me that the person you should love most is yourself. Mom can't forget the past, can't forget the hurt from before. John, I hope you can love yourself, just like Mom learned to. Okay? I took one last look at the father and son. Then turned back towards Jason. Let's go home. Okay. Jason smoothly wrapped an arm around my waist as he reached for Lily with his other hand. Only to see her run over to John by herself. She tiptoed and grasped onto him. John, surprisingly, crouched down. Lily kissed his cheek and placed the jade button I made when she was born into his hand. Brother, Mommy may have chosen Lily, but Lily will love you on her behalf. John's cold eyes softened a bit, and he seemed like he wanted to hug Lily. But then stopped. Brother, Lily will always love you. With that, she excitedly ran back towards me and Jason. I didn't look back again. Then, I went on the group chat to address the rumors one by one. And casually announced my engagement to Jason. We had a simple celebration at home. That girl from the group chat, perhaps feeling awkward, didn't show up. Instead, she waited for me at an art show for 3 hours, handed me a gift, and left quickly. Since Lily's kindergarten and John's school were too close, I considered transferring her. But Lily flat out refused. After that day, I rarely saw John. Felix was just a name I occasionally heard on TV. He became an absolute workaholic. Industry insiders speculated that he drowned himself in work to numb his feelings. But why he needed to numb himself remains a mystery. Life returned to normal, with Lily's teachers endlessly complaining about her visits to the middle school department. Jason bought her rare albums and plush toys. The picture included a hand-drawn crab, surrounded by 2 white cats. With her usual short-lived interests, Lily quickly loses steam whenever faced with challenges. Except when it comes to John, that is. She stuck with it for the longest time, despite mostly getting ignored or brushed off. Once she entered elementary school, her attachment only grew stronger. Jason spent an afternoon making a durian milk crepe, yet didn't eat a bite. Watched Lily pack the last piece into her bag, mumbling, "Brother has exams soon. Eating sweets will cheer him up." All while completely ignoring Jason, who's been a busy dad. "Baby," Jason said, gently biting my collarbone as if in punishment, "our daughter got snatched away." I couldn't help but laugh, amazed at how fate works sometimes. Even though I'd moved on from John, my daughter managed to find him once again. Meanwhile, Lily ran to the middle school, easily calling for John. Watching him take spoonfuls of the durian crepe. "Brother." "What?" With Lily's presence, John started to smile more, and his scars slowly faded. "Nothing." "Brother, you're really handsome," Lily said, cupping her face. "The best-looking guy I've ever seen." Back at home, Jason sneezed. Before Lily met John, that title had been all Jason's. John pinched Lily's chubby cheeks and extended an offer. "Want to watch me play some basketball?" Lily cheered, I do. That day, John got home, eating leftover durian milk crepe. He casually greeted Felix, Dad, I'm back. Lily gave me cake, so I'm skipping dinner. The father and son relationship was slowly improving but still distant. Felix paused his work, watching John's back as he went upstairs. He coughed up some blood and mumbled to himself, Anne, you were so biased. You left Lily for our son, but only memories for me. A painting I sold for a fortune a few days ago unfolded slowly in Felix's hands. Jason was cooking, I was reading comics, while Lily played with the kitten nearby. Caption, a family of 3.